The money you are receiving is, children of light. Gather your hearts and steady your spirits, for what is being delivered to you today is far greater than coins, bills, or numbers written on a page. You have won a jackpot of purpose, a treasure not measured by earthly weight but by heavenly magnitude. The money you are receiving is not merely currency, it is confirmation. Confirmation that your endurance was seen, your prayers were heard, your battles were not fought in vain. This reward is a sign of alignment, a marker that you have stepped into a chapter prepared for you long before this moment. Do not tremble at the blessing, do not question whether you deserve it. You have walked through shadows, storms, and silence to reach this very point. But listen carefully. This money is not only provision, it is assignment. It arrives with a purpose stamped upon it, a mission encoded within it. Use it with courage. Use it with clarity. Use it with righteousness. Let it strengthen what is broken. Let it build what must rise. Let it free what has been bound. Do not fear abundance. Do not shrink from greatness. For this blessing was not given to overwhelm you. It was given to equip you. Stand tall. Rise in dignity. Carry this reward as a warrior carries their armor, not with pride, but with readiness. For the true jackpot you have won is not the money itself. It is the new authority, the new season, the new power that comes with it. Walk forward boldly, for you are not alone. And what begins today will echo far beyond what you can see. Congratulations, your victory has begun. This reward is confirmation, not coincidence. It is the unfolding of a design that has been shaping itself quietly around you, even in moments when you believed nothing was moving. Every step you took, every challenge you faced, every sacrifice you made, none of it was lost in the vastness of time. This blessing arrives not as an unexpected stroke of luck, but as the natural arrival of something that has long been aligned with your path. You did not stumble into this moment, you grew into it. What you are receiving now is the reflection of perseverance that held firm when circumstances tried to bend you. The reflection of character that chose integrity over shortcuts, and the reflection of faith that continued to whisper even when doubt tried to shout. It is the universe responding to the truth you carried within you, rewarding the endurance that shaped you into someone capable of receiving more than you once imagined. This confirmation is a sign that unseen battles you fought were not ignored, the nights when you questioned your worth, the days when you kept going despite feeling empty, the moments when you acted with kindness even when life felt unkind. These were counted. This blessing is the recognition of a journey that demanded more from you than you expected to give, yet you gave anyway. It assures you that your path was not random. The timing is not random. The outcome is not random. What you hold now is evidence that there has always been a greater pattern weaving itself around your experiences, shaping outcomes in the shadows until the moment was right to bring them into your hands. It is not coincidence because it matches the person you have become. It resonates with your growth. It lands at your feet precisely because your inner landscape has finally aligned with what your destiny has always been preparing for you. Blessings do not fall at the feet of those who are unready. They arrive when the soul, the mind, and the character have expanded enough to hold them without fear, without self-sabotage, and without shrinking. That is why this reward appears now. You have risen to the level of the blessing. This confirmation speaks to the truth that you have been walking under guidance, even when you believed you were walking alone. Doors opened that you didn't push. Opportunities came that you didn't chase. Protection shielded you from setbacks that would have broken someone less resilient. You may not have seen the forces moving on your behalf, but they were moving. This blessing is proof that you are not navigating your life by accident. Even the delays had purpose. Even the frustrations taught you what you needed to know. Even the detours redirected you to ground that was fertile enough for your blessing to take root. This reward is confirmation that you listened to the quiet voice within you, the one that urged you to keep going when logic said stop, the one that told you to dream bigger when fear told you to shrink, the one that reminded you that you were made for more, even when your circumstances suggested less. That inner voice was not imagination, it was alignment. It was preparation. It was truth. And now that truth has manifested itself in the form of tangible provision. It is not coincidence, because this blessing mirrors your resilience. It mirrors your refusal to give up. It mirrors the strength you developed in seasons you thought would destroy you. What you receive now honors every moment you stayed committed to your path. Even when you could not see where the path was leading, it honors the discipline you chose over comfort, the patience you embraced over frustration, the faith you built over doubt. This reward did not appear suddenly, it finally revealed itself. This confirmation reminds you that timing is part of destiny. The reward didn't come early, because you needed to grow into the person capable of holding it. It didn't come late because divine timing is never late. It came now because now is the moment when your purpose and your readiness meet. Now is the moment when your heart can handle abundance, when your mind can steward opportunity, and when your spirit can walk without trembling. This blessing is synchronized with who you are today, not who you were before. It is confirmation that you are seen, that your efforts have echoed beyond your understanding, and that your journey has weight. This blessing is not a random event. It is a seal placed upon a chapter that prepares you for the next one. It is a message written in the language of favor. You are ready. You are capable. You are aligned. What has come to you has come with intention, with purpose, and with perfect timing. The blessing carries a mission, not just wealth. What arrives in your hands is not meant to sit idle or serve only the surface of your desires. It comes infused with purpose, direction, and responsibility. Every blessing with real power carries an assignment, a deeper intention woven into its arrival. This provision comes with a pull, a whisper urging you to rise to a higher level of awareness. It invites you to recognize that you were chosen to receive it, because you are capable of channeling it into something meaningful, something that extends beyond personal gain. Wealth given without purpose becomes weight, but wealth given with purpose becomes fuel, fuel for growth, for transformation, for impact. What you have received is not accidental abundance. It is purposeful positioning, placing you where you are now, so that what flows through you can reach farther than your current horizon. This blessing is not meant to end with you. It is meant to pass through you, to elevate not only your life, but the lives of those connected to your journey. Money without mission collapses into emptiness, but money anchored in intention becomes a tool of creation. That is why this provision reaches you now. You have developed the discernment to use it not only for comfort but for contribution. Some blessings arrive as seeds rather than harvests, meant to be planted in places that will one day flourish into something far greater. What you hold is one such seed. Its mission is embedded in the opportunities it will unlock, the people it will help, the paths it will clear, the burdens it will lift, the structures it will allow you to build. This provision comes with the expectation that you will rise above fear, hesitation, and small vision. It challenges you to think beyond survival and into purpose. It invites you to step into the mindset of someone who understands that resources are entrusted, not merely possessed. When a blessing carries a mission, it asks you to look inward and ask, what is being asked of me? What door must I now walk through? What dream must I resurrect? What influence must I embrace? This wealth is not here to comfort your limitations. It is here to stretch your capacity. It calls you to operate with intention, wisdom, and courage, knowing that you are now equipped to do what you were once only able to imagine. A mission-bound blessing also alters the way you see yourself. It reminds you that you are not here to drift, but to deliver. You are not here to shrink, but to step forward. You are not here to simply receive, but to activate. The assignment tied to this blessing may not reveal itself all at once. It may unfold slowly, in layers, through intuition, opportunities, and unexpected connections. But it will reveal itself, and when it does, you will recognize that the blessing was never random, it was targeted. It sought you out because you carry the strength, the heart, and the willingness to transform provision into purpose. This blessing also demands alignment. Not alignment with fear, worry, or scarcity, but with clarity and higher intention. It asks you to handle it not with hesitation, but with reverence. Not with impulsiveness, but with maturity. Not with ego, but with vision. It calls you to be a steward of what you are receiving, not someone who clings to it, but someone who channels it wisely and boldly. The mission carried by this blessing is woven into its timing. It arrived when your character, your awareness, and your inner growth finally reached the level required to handle it honorably. It came when you were ready to not only receive but to direct. This blessing is not demanding perfection. It is inviting responsibility. It is calling forth the part of you that has been waiting for a moment like this. The part of you that is ready to lead, to uplift, to build, to act. Wealth with purpose transforms everything it touches. It shifts your perspective from limitation to possibility. It empowers you to step into the role of a creator, a contributor, a force of change. It challenges you to use what you have been given not only to elevate your own life, but to leave an imprint on the world around you. The mission may take the form of generosity. It may take the form of building something new. It may take the form of healing what was once broken. It may take the form of stepping into opportunities you once believed were beyond your reach. Whatever shape it takes, you will feel it. It will stir you, call to you, demand your attention, and align your actions with a greater purpose. This blessing is not small, even if it arrives in a form that feels simple. It is strategic. It is intentional. It is transformative. It comes with a mission that will reveal itself through your willingness to embrace it. And as you step into that mission, you will realize that the true value of what you have received is not measured in numbers, but in the destiny it activates. Use the provision with courage and righteousness. What has been placed into your hands now is not meant to be handled timidly or fearfully, as though you somehow received it by accident or mistake. It is meant to be embraced with strength, clarity, and conviction. Courage is required because abundance often exposes parts of your spirit that scarcity kept hidden, your sense of worthiness, your belief in what you deserve, your trust in your own ability to make decisions that shape your future. To use this provision with courage means stepping out of old patterns of doubt, lifting yourself above the voice that tells you to shrink, and refusing to treat this blessing as something fragile or temporary. It means standing firmly on the understanding that you are capable of stewarding what you have been given, even if the magnitude of it feels overwhelming at first. Courage in this context is not loud or reckless. It is steady, intentional, and grounded. It shows itself in the decisions you make, the boundaries you set, and the direction you choose to move with this blessing. Courage says, "I will not let fear dictate what I do with what has been entrusted to me." Courage says, "I will not sabotage myself with hesitation or insecurity." Courage says, "I will rise to meet this opportunity with the strength that has always been within me." Provision is not meant to paralyze you. It is meant to activate you. It empowers you to move toward goals you once shelved, to rebuild areas of your life that suffered from lack, and to pursue avenues that were once out of reach. Courage allows you to see the blessing not as something that could disappear at any moment, but as a tool meant to expand your life. To use the provision with righteousness means aligning your decisions with integrity, wisdom, and conscience. It means understanding that resources are powerful, and with power comes the responsibility to act with clarity and honor. Righteousness does not demand perfection, but it does require intention. It asks that you consider not only what feels good in the moment, but what contributes to your long-term growth, stability, and inner alignment. When you act with righteousness, you choose actions that uplift rather than diminish, that build rather than deteriorate, that align with your highest principles rather than your fleeting impulses. Righteousness means being mindful of how your choices affect your future self. It prevents you from acting recklessly with your blessing or using it as an escape from discomfort. It calls you to invest in what strengthens your life, not in temporary distractions that drain your spirit. It means asking yourself whether your decisions reflect the person you are becoming, rather than the person you once were. When provision is used with righteousness, it becomes more than money. It becomes a catalyst for transformation. It opens doors, fortifies foundations, and sets the tone for the next stage of your journey. Using the blessing with courage and righteousness also means refusing to let guilt or shame cloud your ability to act. Some people struggle to accept abundance because they fear judgment, envy, or the weight of others' expectations. But this blessing was not given to you so you could hide it. It was not given for you to feel small. It calls you to step into visibility, not for arrogance, but for empowerment. Courage reminds you that you are allowed to grow, expand, and thrive. Righteousness ensures that your expansion does not come at the cost of your character or your integrity. Courageous stewardship of your blessing may involve taking risks, calculated, intentional risks, that open doors to opportunities you once believed were beyond your reach. It might mean starting something new, investing in something bold, or finally pursuing a dream you were too afraid to chase before. Righteous stewardship means ensuring that these risks are rooted in wisdom rather than impulse, clarity rather than confusion. Together, courage and righteousness create a balance. One pushes you forward, the other keeps you aligned. Using your provision with courage also means recognizing that you deserve stability, security, and abundance, not as a reward for perfection, but as the natural outcome of growth, perseverance, and alignment. Courage pushes you to believe in your own capacity to use what you have been given effectively. It refuses to let scarcity mindsets reappear now that you have stepped into a new season. It encourages you to trust your instincts, trust your growth, and trust your vision. Righteousness reminds you not to hoard your blessing out of fear, but also not to waste it out of impulse. It teaches you the value of balance, giving where it is needed, investing where it is wise, and protecting what is sacred. It keeps your heart clean, your intentions steady, and your path clear. It reminds you that the blessing is not only for your comfort, but also for your development, your stability, and your impact on others. This provision is an opportunity to rewrite patterns, break cycles, and make choices that elevate your life. Courage allows you to break free from the limitations you once accepted. Righteousness ensures that the freedom you gain does not lead you down destructive paths. The two must work together. One without the other creates imbalance. Courage without righteousness can become reckless, and righteousness without courage can become stagnant. To use this blessing with courage and righteousness means acknowledging its power. Provision can heal, expand, and elevate, but it can also distract or derail if handled without intention. You are being called to rise above old habits and approach this season with a clear mind and a steady heart. You are meant to walk forward with confidence, making decisions that honor your worth and your purpose. This blessing wants to work for you, not against you. It wants to grow, multiply, and elevate everything it touches, but it needs your courage to move and your righteousness to guide. When you integrate both, the provision becomes more than support. It becomes transformation. It becomes a step toward the future you have been preparing for. It becomes a tool that aligns your external life with your internal growth. Use what you have been given boldly. Use it wisely. Use it with a heart that knows its value and a spirit that knows its purpose. In courage, you take action. In righteousness, you take the right action. And when the two come together, what you build with this blessing will not only last, it will lift you into the fullness of what this season was meant to bring. Abundance is an assignment. Step into it boldly. When a greater measure of provision enters your life, it is not merely an upgrade of comfort, it is a calling. Abundance carries its own weight, its own responsibility, its own demand for a higher version of you to awaken. It is not here to entertain small thinking or cater to outdated fears. It is here because you have reached a point in your journey where you are ready, not just to receive more, but to become more. Abundance is not a passive experience. It is a position, a role, a mantle placed upon your shoulders. It asks you to stand taller, think wider, dream bigger, and move with a level of strength you may not have known you possessed. To step into abundance boldly means refusing to let fear disguise itself as humility. Too often, people shrink when abundance shows up, as though they must apologize for rising or justify being blessed. But this is the moment when you must cast aside every thought that tells you you are unworthy, unprepared, or incapable. Abundance recognizes you even when you have not yet fully recognized yourself. It sees the potential in you, the discipline you've developed, the character you've sharpened, and the resilience you've built. It arrives because you have crossed an invisible threshold from who you were into who you are meant to become. Now it asks you to live at that level, confidently, decisively, and without retreat. Stepping into abundance boldly is not arrogance, it is alignment. It means embracing the truth that you are ready for the next stage of your purpose. It means giving yourself permission to expand without guilt, to prosper without fear, to rise without apology. It is the understanding that abundance is not a distraction but a tool, and tools are meant to be used. It challenges you to break free from the limits you adapted to when you were surviving, and to step into the mindset required when you are thriving. Abundance as an assignment also means recognizing that this season calls for upgraded choices. You cannot step into a larger life with a smaller mentality. You cannot navigate new opportunities with old insecurities. Abundance is an environment that demands clarity, intentionality, and maturity. It pushes you to evaluate what no longer fits, relationships that drain you, habits that sabotage you, beliefs that restrict you. It calls you to prune, refine, and redesign areas of your life so that you can rise into the fullness of what has been placed before you. This assignment is not only about what you receive, but about what you become in the process. Abundance stretches you. It invites you to take risks that align with your growth. It pushes you toward decisions that require courage. It challenges you to trust yourself in unfamiliar territory. Abundance forces you to confront the parts of you that still believe life must be difficult, that blessings come with conditions, or that opportunities are not for people like you. When abundance enters your life, it challenges you to rewrite the narrative you've been living under, to tell a new story about your capability, your identity, and your future. Stepping into abundance boldly means understanding that your life is expanding, because expansion is now necessary. Greater resources mean greater potential. Greater potential means greater impact. The assignment of abundance is not merely to improve your circumstances but to elevate your influence. With more clarity, more stability, and more provision, you are now positioned to accomplish what once felt impossible. This is why abundance arrived, not to overwhelm you but to empower you. It calls you to stand with a boldness that says, "I will no longer shrink to fit old versions of myself." It calls you to make decisions that match the level of your new season. It calls you to pursue goals that once intimidated you. Boldness in abundance looks like taking ownership of your destiny, stepping into opportunities without hesitation, and refusing to be ruled by fear of the unknown. It means trusting that the same guidance that brought you to abundance will guide you within it. Abundance as an assignment also teaches you discernment, the ability to choose what aligns with your growth and release what pulls you backward. Not every invitation deserves your yes. Not every voice deserves your attention. Abundance sharpens your awareness of what nurtures you and what drains you. It empowers you to build your life intentionally, strategically, and with unwavering purpose. It calls you to behave as someone who understands that everything you do now has greater weight, greater consequence, and greater potential. Stepping boldly into abundance means reshaping your inner dialogue. It means replacing self-doubt with self-trust, insecurity with confidence, and fear with expectation. It requires you to see yourself not as someone waiting for permission, but as someone entrusted with authority. This is not a season to tiptoe. This is a season to stride forward with the assurance that you have earned your place in this expansion. The assignment of abundance includes using your voice more strongly, setting your boundaries more firmly, and making your choices more intentionally. It asks you to elevate your standards, how you allow others to treat you, how you treat yourself, how you spend your time, and how you allocate your energy. Abundance exposes areas of your life that were hidden in lack and now must be strengthened. It invites you to build, to create, to envision, and to act from a place of empowerment rather than desperation. At its core, abundance is a calling to become a fuller, truer, stronger version of yourself. It is the universe declaring that you are ready for greater responsibility, greater effectiveness, and greater purpose. You are not meant to tiptoe around this blessing as if it might disappear. You are meant to claim it. You are meant to step into it with a posture of confidence and readiness. This is not the time to shrink. This is not the time to doubt. This is the time to rise. Abundance is an assignment. Step into it boldly, and let the magnitude of this season shape you into the person you were always meant to be. The true jackpot is the authority and season now opened. What has arrived in your life is not merely a financial increase or a moment of good fortune. It is an unlocking, a shift, a transition into a realm where you are no longer operating from the limitations of your past, but from the elevated position that this new season demands. The real treasure is not the number attached to the blessing, but the dimension of power, clarity, and influence that it activates within you. This authority is not granted by human approval. It is awakened within your spirit because the time has come for you to step into a greater version of yourself. Authority in this sense is not about control over others. It is about mastery over your life, your decisions, and your direction. It is the power to choose from a place of abundance rather than desperation. It is the confidence to trust your own voice. It is the strength to walk away from what no longer aligns, and to walk boldly toward what is meant for you. This is the kind of authority that cannot be bought. It is grown through endurance, carved through experience, and crowned by the moment when your season finally shifts. The true jackpot lies in realizing that you have been repositioned. Where once you were striving, you are now standing. Where once you were waiting, you are now receiving. A door has opened, not one you needed to force, break down, or beg for, but one that recognizes who you have become. This new season is not an accident, it is an arrival. It marks the point in your journey where everything you have endured, learned, and overcome converges into purpose. The blessing is not only a reward, it is an elevation. This season opens with a sense of alignment that you may not have felt before. Suddenly, things that once were difficult begin to flow. Ideas that were once scattered become clear. Paths that once felt blocked reveal new entry points. What has changed is not the world around you. It is the position from which you now move within it. You are no longer walking with a survival mindset. You are stepping forward with authority, knowing that you have access to opportunities, resources, and inner strength that were not available to you in earlier chapters. The true jackpot is the inner shift, the awakening of the part of you that finally understands your own value. This blessing validates the resilience that once felt unnoticed. It affirms the decisions you made when no one was clapping. It highlights the discipline you maintained when results were nowhere in sight. This authority comes from knowing that you did not arrive here through shortcuts or chance, but through the persistent unfolding of your own growth. That inner knowing is more valuable than any material increase because it cannot be taken from you. This new season brings with it a different type of confidence, not arrogance but assurance. The kind that comes from understanding that you are supported, guided, and prepared. You no longer move with hesitation, because hesitation belonged to the season you have now left behind. In this new chapter, You move with intentional steps, grounded choices, and elevated vision. Everything about this moment urges you to operate differently, not from fear, but from clarity, not from scarcity, but from strength, not from reaction, but from purpose. The authority you carry now empowers you to make decisions that align with your highest potential. It encourages you to pursue opportunities that once felt intimidating. It gives you the courage to release what no longer serves your future. It pushes you to step into roles, spaces, and visions that require the person you are becoming, not the person you were forced to be in previous seasons. This authority is the real treasure because it transforms every part of your life, your relationships, your goals, your boundaries, your priorities. The season that has opened is one of expansion. You may feel a shift in your spirit, a sense that you can breathe differently, think differently, move differently. This is because the environment around you and within you has changed. The ground is more fertile. The opportunities are more aligned. The support is more present. This season invites you to rise without fear, to build without second-guessing, and to dream without limitation. You are no longer operating from the shadows of past experiences. You are standing in the light of new beginnings. The true jackpot also lies in the realization that you now possess the authority to rewrite parts of your life story. You are not bound to old patterns or cycles. You are not confined by previous mistakes or setbacks. This season brings fresh momentum, renewed clarity, and divine timing. What was delayed is now advancing. What was withheld is now being released. What was broken is now being restored. And you are at the center of it, not as a passive recipient, but as an empowered creator. The authority granted in this season will influence how you see yourself. You will begin to recognize that you are capable of more than you once believed. You will trust your voice more. You will embrace opportunities more. You will walk into rooms with an energy that commands respect, not by force but by the presence of someone who knows exactly who they are. This authority is subtle but powerful. It transforms your mindset, your posture, and your expectations. The jackpot is not only the season that has opened, but the identity that is emerging within you. You are being elevated into someone who leads, decides, and acts from a place of alignment. You are being positioned to handle blessing with wisdom, influence with integrity, and abundance with purpose. This is the moment you have been prepared for. This is the moment everything begins to make sense. The true jackpot is not the money, it is the transformation. It is the awakening. It is the authority you now carry and the season you have stepped into. And once you enter a season like this, nothing in your life will ever remain the same.